All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're playing a new game for us tonight. We're playing Mothership. We're starting up a campaign of Mothership every other Friday night. We're kind of alternating between this and what will soon be a Hunter the Reckoning game. I've been wanting to play Mothership for a really long time. I love industrial sci-fi, like space horror stuff. We've played like a bunch of the others. We've played Alien. We've played Those Dark Places. We just recently played some Death in Space. And so finally we're going to get to play some Mothership. And specifically, I've been wanting to play Gradient Descent, which is what we're going to start this campaign off with. Whether we stay that forever, I'm not sure. Oh man, Aaron, thank you so much for that sub. You are a gentleman and scholar. Speaking of Hunter the Reckoning, Aaron is going to join us for that. Too old to Twitch, thank you as well. 16 months, man, thank you. And Melissa, you're required to do that, so no thanks. So there you go.
Thanks for doing the
thank
minimum.
you for doing what you have to do. Contractually obligated by the state of Florida, where we got married.
I got married in Florida too.
All right, look at that. Yeah, okay. That's where in Florida?
Englewood.
Oh,
okay.
that's very close to where we got married.
Yeah, we got married. What, Sarasota? I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got a beach wedding.
Okay. You got married in Florida too, Eric? What? Everyone's getting married in Florida. It's fun, fantastic. Let's see. We got some bits. Aaron, thank you for the bits. Oh man. Let's see. What do we want to do with bits? So we're playing. Oh, I got a complication already. Farka Dev, you are just my favorite. Okay, so I got a comp. So we'll do our usual. We'll do complications, 300 bits. So that's just a way for me to kind of throw extra obstacles, not necessarily like, combats, just some wrinkle that we put into it so it's not as easy for y'all, something weird that you have to interact with. And fortunately, in Mothership and where we're going in this campaign, there's a lot of options for that. Mm-hmm. And then I think we'll do 100 bits. We'll say pro players will give you, say, an advantage on a roll. We'll try that out for a bit because there is an advantage system in here. We'll see how that goes. I don't want to. So we won't. I don't want to do re-rolls. Let's do advantage, disadvantage. Does that sound okay?
Fair enough.
All right.
Yeah,
All right.
sounds good to
So
me.
Melissa, keep track of that. So we have those. You can tap into them if you want it. Call it out before you roll. Take it as per usual, and we go from there. Okay. So let's dive in. So Mothership, if you're unfamiliar, it's sci-fi, it's horror, it's kind of gritty, it's sort of industrial. It has that feeling of kind of like Alien, Event Horizon, that kind of thing. So that's what we're going with. We've made characters already, so we're not going to do a full session 0, but we do have some questions and some things I want to get down before we get going. So little world building questions, crew building sessions, stuff. So we're going to probably spend the first 15 to 20 minutes here kind of settling that down before we actually dive in and get going where we're going. Because Gradient Descent is really, really interesting. It's written by Luke Gearing, and it's like a mega dungeon basically, but it's like a massive space station. So that's not hidden stuff. There are bits going everywhere right now. I think I'm up to 3 complications so far. This is. I stockpile them too. They carry over just like yours do. So if I can't get to all 3 of them tonight, I'm keeping them.
Only fair.
You all are so very nice, so very generous. Generous. I can speak. Okay, so let's dive into some basic questions. How do we want to do this? Do we want to start off by going over? Let's introduce characters, and then we'll kind of build off of that. So we'll go. We'll go in the order of the overlay. So that means Melissa, you're up first. Tell us a bit about Liko Win.
Okay, so I rolled up a Teamster by the name of Liko Win. The skills that I kind of went into include piloting. So there's that. So she's good with industrial equipment, 0G, jury rigging, and then piloting is her expert skill. My trinket that I rolled was a fleece-lined hooded parka. So that's kind of helped determine.
Goes really well with your snowshoes from one.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've kind of worked that into when we get to kind of some of the other kind of character creation questions. I've kind of worked that in there. And then I also, which went along with it, I rolled for equipment, camping gear, water filter, and spanner. So there's definitely this image of her with kind of this parka, camping gear, water filter, all of that kind of stuff. So gives you an idea of the direction I went with my character.
Okay. So a couple questions, and everybody else, you're going to get hit with these too. So like, let's say a stranger comes up and sees Liko. What is the first like physically? What's the first physically recognizable striking thing that we're going to see? Like, give us like one physical detail, like above all else, that will stand out in some way.
I would say height.
Okay, so tall, short.
Yeah, so she's
Okay.
like 5'9".
Okay, so she's short. Is 5'9" short or tall in your mind? I know you're short because you're like 5'4". So like I don't know.
That's pretty average.
I know 5'9" seems like straight down the middle for me, especially
You
since
should make her like 6'2".
Okay.
I agree with Ashley. I think if you want her tall, like lean into it more, maybe make her even
Okay.
taller.
All right. So I'll do like 5'11".
Go 9 foot. Just go for it.
Go 10 feet tall. Just get up to the double digits. It's fine. Okay, so we'll say I'm just gonna round up with your boots. You're 6 foot,
Sure,
easy.
sure.
You're
There
6
you
foot.
go.
Okay, so you're tall. Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then same thing, but like more like personality. So if someone's like in a conversation with Liko for a little bit of time, like what's like a striking like detail about like her in conversation or her personality or something like that?
So this kind of fits one of the other questions that we came up with.
Yeah.
But she is one of those people who is always talking out loud to herself.
Oh,
Like
perfect.
she's narrating what she's doing out loud for everyone to hear.
Okay, that's a great detail. I like it. I like that. Okay, awesome. And again, I'm not going to go through because I asked them a bunch of things for reasons. A couple other things. Oh yeah, one other question I'm interested in is like, what do you do? We don't do the. We'll save the fear one for another day. Okay, let's see. How about is there? We'll cycle. Actually, we'll cycle back for some of these because some of these I want you to hear what everybody else says about each other, and then we'll kind of cycle back.
Sure.
All right, so that's good for now. All right, so then we're going to go long. You're playing Helix. Tell us a little bit about Helix.
Yeah, playing an android. He's got asteroid complexion skin. It's pretty symmetrical if you look them straight down the middle. I've got a little pet penguin named Pee-Pee.
Like a real penguin?
Yeah, he's actually real.
He's
A small pet,
Okay.
yeah.
Those are like 200,000 credits in the gear list.
I
rolled
know.
it in my set.
That is insane. Okay,
you
have
rolled
a
a
pet
pet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We
Name
should
it
sell that on the
Pee-Pee.
black market.
and use that to buy useful things.
I've got piercing
Okay.
orange eyes. I'm pretty much like a hacker, mathematics
Okay.
kind of guy.
Cool. All right, so you're like a software tech math geek. Gotcha. All right, sounds good. And you already kind of answered some of the questions I was thinking about. What about like personality? Now, androids are kind of weird. When I say they're weird, like androids can sometimes unsettle folks. Like one of the mechanical effects of an android, there's in Mothership, there's trauma responses, and so yours is like you make other people kind of afraid. So your friendly characters that are nearby, whenever they make fear saves, they're just at a disadvantage because you're here, because you kind of just unsettle things. So like, if someone gets into a conversation with you, or if they get to know you, is there a personality that emerges with Helix?
Yeah, since humans are so different from like artificial intelligence, almost android-like, we pretty much compute all these variables and just respond with the most optimal outcome. So it's like might be a little inhuman to those.
Okay. So a little dry, a little inhuman, not very empathetic. Okay. Cool. All right. Perfect. All right. Next up, we've got a doctor. We've got Dr. Leo Minton. Derek, tell us about the doctor.
Yeah, Dr. Leo Minton. He is homeless now. Used to be a doctor in a hospital. He botched saving a space mob boss from dying, and so they kind of threatened him. So he just became very timid as a result and just lives on the streets.
Okay.
What's funny is I think I rolled a trinket that was, oh yeah, that's right. My patched overalls is the trinket that I rolled.
Yeah.
And so I decided to make these. So these are overalls that Leo made himself. They're his old medic scrubs. He just cut them up and then sewed the edges so that they wouldn't continue to fray apart. They're filthy and tattered from the years of being on the streets. And so the Sesame Street characters have a very haunting look to them. He's just very unsettling overalls.
Oh my God. That's right. I remember that. You were telling me about that. That's okay. That's so good. Okay. And so I think that would probably be the most striking visual thing. Is that right? Is that fair?
Either that or his perm. Yeah, he's got a perm.
He's got a proper perm.
Like the Bob Ross perm. I was very intent when I
Yeah.
hit the face. I was like, I want a guy with a perm.
We do have some tokens that we did use at Artflow as we were messing around with them. So if and when we decide to pop out some kind of map, we might see them. We'll see if that happens tonight or not. Okay. Anything about his personality? Like anything we should know about him? What you thinking?
He's very jumpy. He expects to get whacked any day now, so very jumpy.
Okay. I think this might
Yeah.
help with a future question. Yeah, I like that. I like him being jumpy already before I even started the adventure. Okay. Next up, we have the only Marine of the group. So clearly you're all screwed because it's Steven. Steven, tell us about Corporal Reed.
Yeah, Corporal Charlie Reed here. He's pretty much what you call the ultimate badass. He can take on anything. He'll take it down, just 2 quick pulls of a trigger. He's got the standard loadout for a Marine. Well, he did up until his dishonorable discharge, in which case they stripped him of his rank. He was a sergeant before. They demote you to whatever your last rank that you served honorably, whatever that means. But yeah, he's still got he's got a tank top and some pants left over. He bought some mag boots with his last check. I think they still owe me a check, but they're not paying. So yeah, that's about Corporal Reed.
I like how you're like, oh yeah, just 2 clicks of the trigger. Do you have a gun to fire there?
I mean, I'm pretty good with guns. I know my way around it. A nice long barrel rifle. I'm currently in between possession of the said rifle.
Okay. Does anyone have a gun? I don't think anyone has a gun. I think does Menton have a trank gun?
I've got a trank gun.
Yeah, I think you're the only
I
one with a
have
gun.
a Vibrachette.
So does Abby. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are so
I still got my combat knife. What else do you need?
no gun.
Isn't
So
your
good.
combat knife actually a scalpel, though?
Okay.
Technically, you could say it's a scalpel. Yeah.
Okay. So personality-wise, how would you describe him?
Sure
shit.
of himself.
Sure of himself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Full of shit. Yep.
Yeah. Sure of himself. Okay, got it. Overconfident. All right. And then finally, we've got Abby Morton. Ashley, tell us about Abby.
So my name is Abby Bolton, and I don't know when I became British, but suddenly I am. That's not sticking.
First session, you'll work on it. It's all good. You'll get it.
No, I wasn't going for that at all. I don't know why I started talking like that. So Abby is very short. She's like 5'4". She's a tiny little woman. She's
Oh God.
So she's a teamster,
Mhm.
and she specialized in zoology and field medicine, basically in industrial equipment 0G she's trained in. So I like to think she was working at some sort of like line equipment facility that creating like products for like spaceships or something, and she was like the nurse on hand. And so like her bedside manner is not there because she's dealt with grown men all the time. So she's kind of mean, and she's very superstitious.
Oh, okay. Is there a specific source of that superstition?
So specifically her trinket that she has. So she went on like a spiritual journey at one point. Like she did some shrooms and that this lady gave her and told her that it would show her future. and she came out of it thinking if she doesn't have this dented prospector mug with her, terrible things will happen.
Okay. Prospector mug. Okay. All right. Cool. All right, so we got that out of the way. Perfect. So a couple other quick questions before we get going. Let's talk about, or who would we say are buddies on the crew? So you're all in a crew together. You're working together. You're picking up various odd jobs here and there. Maybe Menton's come on recently because he's specifically maybe trying to get away from getting whacked, and so now you have a doctor and a nurse on your crew. Which is interesting because in a lot of other games that we've played, you haven't had any healers whatsoever. Yeah. And now we have like 1.5. This is amazing. Yeah. You guys are going to live forever. I mean, you don't have any guns, but that's fine. So are there certain people on board that we'd say like, hey, these are the buddies? Is there something like that? Like now that you've heard everyone's explanation, like what are we doing? What are we thinking about in those terms?
If Abby's cool with it, I was thinking that Dr. Minton and Addie could be buddies because we have medical experience in common.
Yeah, okay. That would work.
That works. Okay. Any other thoughts on this?
I think Reed would be kind of fascinated by Helix, like with all the extra human, like, can you do the 5-finger fillet thing? Like, what are you capable of here?
Okay.
I think I would definitely try to do see what kind of like parlor tricks he knows. I think I would just be fascinated by that.
All right. Okay. All right. Lico or Helix, would we say there's a specific person that you kind of look to, maybe either as a buddy or like who kind of rubs you the wrong way, something like that?
Yeah, I was trying to think from the descriptions. You have some ideas, Helix?
Yeah, I've got Reed here. I'll do Reed as my closest buddy. It's like he's never given me any real reason to doubt him.
Okay. All right. It's interesting. This is
never gonna let you down, buddy.
We had an alien campaign several months back where we had an interesting relationship between a Marine and an android. So I'm looking forward to a different one now. It's gonna be totally different. It's great. Okay, cool. Lico, is there somebody you look to as like this is the person you can trust, or this is the person who you consider your buddy, or this is the person you just can't stand? Like, I'm just kind of curious.
Yeah, I'm going to say that.
This is
I'm
not.
Gonna say I trust Abby.
Okay. All right, because you're both Teamsters, both working class folk. All right. Last couple of questions then are about your ship. So, what's the name of your ship?
I was going to suggest the UCSS Sargasso, named after the Sargasso Sea.
Mm-hmm. Seaweed. Nice.
Yeah, it's the only sea that's completely surrounded by a body of water. It's also known for having a lack of wind and currents, so you can just be becalmed there forever, which I kind of imagine is how this campaign will go. I thought it could be thematically.
Interestingly enough,
is appropriate.
Interestingly enough, there is a significant amount of like aquatic metaphor going on in Gradient Descent. I've already mentioned there's the mechanic called the bends, but the place you're going to is actually called the deep. And people who actually do artifact hunting are called divers. So there is sort of a strange, like, kind of fit to it. But
also, according to the Wikipedia page, you can see in places up to 200 feet deep because it's so clear. Perfect for diving. I totally did not read the article.
Were there any better suggestions than Sargasso?
I came up with a few. I'll just throw one here. Just SS Equinox.
Equinox, that's cool too. I like that one. All right. Do we want to do any others? Anyone else want to throw a name into the ring, and we'll roll a die or something, or we have chat can pick.
I have something like that. Aberration or Doppler shift.
Something lighthearted could be Dora the Explorer.
I'm the ship. I'm the ship. I'm the ship.
Melissa, did you have one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So I've got Sargasso, Equinox, the Aberration, Dora the Explorer. What was the other one, Ashley?
Oh, it was a Doppler shift.
Doppler shift. Okay. All right. Do any one of those stand? Okay. Do we want to commit to anyone? Does anyone want to like? Let's just roll a die.
Yeah.
Derek, roll D6 for me, will you? Doppler shift it is. With the 6.
SS Doppler.
The SS Doppler? Why don't you just call it that? Instead of
Yeah,
Doppler,
that
should
works.
just call it the Doppler? Okay. Or US. I'm not, yeah, I guess. What would it be? I don't know what the designations are in Mothership. I'd have to look that up. We'll just call it the Doppler for now. All right. Okay. Got that. All right. So then I asked you all, like, what's some kind of quirk or detail about your ship?
Yeah.
I know you've been working on these. So what do we got?
I just thought of one because of the name here. I think we should actually have a weather radar that tells us what every planet that we're going to touch down and what like the forecast is for the next 10 days.
It's got forecasting software.
Great.
Okay, it's literally going to be completely useless for the first arc of this campaign, but that's fine. Forecasting software.
Doppler radar.
It's got to have
No,
a
it's
really
great.
good
It's
meteorologist voice, though.
The voice. The computer has a voice of a meteorologist. Oh God.
It wakes us up every morning with the
Back to
the
you for
forecast.
sports, John.
It's
Oh,
got to
geez,
be.
I have to work on one of those.
the Weather Channel hurricane guy whose name is escaping me. Like that's got to be.
Good morning, Doppler. On today's news, we have
Okay.
a forecast of death.
Oh,
Like,
That's
Jim
so good.
Cantori. That's the guy. That's always
Rather than
informed for
getting,
the
like,
hurricanes.
a really good
Yeah, Jeff, how is your
computer.
Jim Cantori impression?
I will endeavor to work on that for next time. Yeah. Okay, so that's one. That's two. We'll say forecasting software and the computer voice. Any other weird quirks that we have on the ship?
So the one that I wrote down before session was there's an unusually large collection of Tiny Tim records or tapes or discs, whatever kind of technology we're with. And it always plays on the PA system except from 12 to 6, and then you get to sleep for 6 hours.
All right, that one's awesome. Okay, I got that. I'm not gonna write all that down because you have it in the doc here. I can see, but I'm gonna put that down. I like that one. All right.
So
Other
the one that
ideas?
I came up with was that the shower water goes cold. And Ashley suggested the time frame for this. So the shower water goes cold every time in exactly 3 minutes and 33 seconds.
Why? Bathroom's haunted.
All right. Okay.
But only at 3:33.
No, it's haunted all the time. So you have to
It goes
pee in
cold
there
at
knowing
6 minutes and 16 seconds. Okay.
that
All right.
somebody's watching you.
It's a long shower. Okay. So it's haunted, and then I like this. Long? Did you do this last one with the doors? Is that you, or is that
No, it was
you,
the first
Steven?
one. Mine was my computer system where it has voice recognition virtual assistant.
Okay. Yeah. I think let's do that one, but the voice assistant
Yeah.
is the weather guy's voice. So we'll do your thing coupled with the fact that it has a weatherman's voice. And then Steven, read yours. What did you put for yours?
So originally mine was going to be that the doors only closed 95% of the way. Like they
Yeah.
close most of the way, but there's some sort of computer glitch where they don't close all the way.
So you're all dead because the outer door is never fully closed, and so if there's no times. Or now I like it.
No.
And you have to do the rest of the
I've
way
got a
manually.
special putty that I use for the hull.
Close it the rest of the way manually every time. Okay. All right. I like it. So I got all our details there. Sounds great. I realize that as I write stuff down, my hair is being very pain in the ass. Okay. So are we ready to kind of get going then? The rest of them will kind of, the other things will fill out as we go, and some of them will come into play at certain points because I gave them all like a little questionnaire asking them certain things like what do they fear, stuff about their memories, stuff like that. Not that I'm going to use that to completely mess with them throughout the campaign or anything, but yeah. Let me get a little.
Totally not.
Let's get a little music going, maybe. Let's do a little derelict freighter action, and we'll get started. Y'all ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So again, last question I forgot to ask. We can roll a die on this. All of you have so you've got a sponsor, like basically someone who gave you a lead for this job that we're about to go on. They kind of hooked you up with this info. They gave you some seed money that I'll talk about in a second, not necessarily for equipment, but for something else. Your sponsor, I'm going to give you 6 options. You can pick, talk amongst yourselves who you think the sponsor would be for everybody. One of those I think might, because of Derek's character, might be eliminated, but we'll see. So a corporate rep, a mercenary company, the Space Mafia. That's the one I was thinking. Well, maybe this is probably a no-go. Some sort of political org. So like a political organization, like someone in like a government or something like that. Then a dissident group, so some sort of upstart, or an information broker. What do we think? How would you describe the sponsor for your...
I would be fine with any of those, except I would have to veto the political organization.
Okay, so
I
no
was
one...
deciding between political and startup, but since Reed doesn't want the political, then startup.
You want to do a startup company, like a corporate startup? I like that. All right. Any other thoughts?
I think that sounds good.
Yeah, I'm good with that one too.
Okay, so some sort of up and coming corporation representative has gotten a hold of you all. Perfect, and that's kind of sponsored.
Venture capitalists.
Okay.
It's Space Y.
Okay. Do we have a name for them? Do we want to come up with a name? It's always a good thing to do on the spot among 6 different people is to come up with a name that we can all agree upon. Let's do it letter by letter.
Advanced Salvage Systems Limited.
Advanced. Okay. I'm going to go with that for now.
You guys can change it.
I like just going Advanced Systems Limited because it's one of those like you don't actually know what it means.
Well, I was thinking ASS is ass, so...
Oh, got it.
I was following that. I'm like, we're not. We're not. Okay.
If we
I
do,
caught it and chose to remain silent.
if we do ASL, we're American Sign Language, so that's great. We'll do Advanced Systems Limited. I like that.
Yeah, let's do it.
It's
Advanced Salvage Systems Limited, and then if you try to say it, it's like asshole.
Who's your contact? Like, what's the name of the person who like kind of contacted you about this? You have a name?
It should be like, I want it to be like the front desk lady.
We can't get past reception.
Just give me a name. Just go. Okay, never mind. I'll come up with a
Deborah.
name.
Stony Arc.
Stony Arc. I'm gonna name them Debbie Stony Arc.
I like
It's a
it.
hyphenated name.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the
All right.
future. We don't need
They didn't want to
all
take
right.
their
bother
they
with
didn't want to
patriarchy.
lose their last
Guess
name.
worse.
Hyphenated it, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's your contact, and you. Okay, so when we worked for Advanced Systems Limited. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's get started then. Let's crank up some Derelict Freighter music. I love tabletop audio. We're awesome. Okay. Sound okay? Does this sound all right? It might be the wrong music. Let's do a different one. I don't want to do that yet. Let's do a little dark matter. Okay, so here's the setup. Your sponsor, Advanced Systems Limited, specifically Deborah Stony Arc, who may or may not be a receptionist at some sort of corporate location that you're familiar with. We'll dig into that when we need to. Your sponsor has hooked you up with a lead, a very juicy lead. How they acquired this lead, they didn't tell you. But honestly, who really cares? All of you need money. Everyone needs money. That's just how it is. But you have a lead on a defunct Cloud Bank Corp station in the Outer Rim, and that's where you're headed. And that's what we see. Like, so I think of it, sort of cinematically. We see your ship, this kind of clunky salvage freighter. It's nothing impressive in the least, and you're kind of hurtling, through this black space to like the deep rim of your system here. Now, the station is known colloquially as the Deep. That's kind of how it's referred to in various like salvaging circles and diver circles and stuff like that. And the rumor has it, or at least it's not even a rumor, it's just like the basic information that people have about it, is that it was a production facility for Cloud Bank Corp, specifically for like these special R&D projects, a lot of them involving synthetics production, synthetics facility. Now, you've been told by Deborah, your contact, that it's a proverbial gold mine for salvageable tech and data, and like the kind of the code term or like the go word is artifacts. It's just kind of what everyone calls them. There's artifacts, data artifacts, tech artifacts. Get it. It's get in there, grab what you can, bring it back. It's going to help the startup and it's going to help you all. Now, there's a couple sort of glitches to this is one is that there are a variety of merc vessels, usually somewhere between about 4 and 10, that kind of patrol the space because there is a blockade around the deep, this at some distance too, and it's ordered by unknown parties. Now, everyone's not entirely sure who might have paid for that. That was unclear from your contact. But the good news for that is that the merc pay is pretty like low bid stuff, and so you're under the impression that if you grease the right patrol ship, you can probably get past the blockade if you're caught. So your sponsor has seeded you that bribe money that you can then use to potentially get past. So once you get past the blockade, you're told to head to this like substation that's sort of semi-detached from the deep called the Bell, and you're supposed to meet with a man by the name of Arcady. And Arcady is supposed to kind of get you started up on some diving. That's what it's called. That's what they say. So your basic objective is just get in there, find artifacts as much as you can. All sorts of stuff. Data, tech, anything that would be of use. And if it's not of use to ASL, they could find somebody that will be of use too. And that's that. Okay? Now you've got a couple weeks worth of rations and water, so nothing fancy. It'll kind of keep you going for a bit, but it's possible you might be able to find more from Arcadia or even on the station itself, the conditions of which are unknown as of yet. So, as you've been out of cryo for a couple days, because it usually takes about a week for some of that sickness to wear off, unless you stim up. You usually don't want to waste it if you don't have to. And you guys are approaching the blockade. So, what is everyone doing as we have this little bit of sort of preparation time? As you know, like you can in your distance sensors, you're seeing there's the potential for these ships that are sweeping the area. What is everyone doing on the ship as we approach this blockade area?
So Liko, I'm assuming, is piloting. So that's kind of
Okay.
what she's up to.
Okay, so yeah, you're up in the bridge at the con, checking some, monitoring some of the sensor data. It's an old ship, but you do have some decent tech on here provided by your sponsor. Most notably, the computer systems that you have. It's a little quirky and weird, the voice, but you're going through it, and you can tell that there is a jump ship that's sort of moving in your direction. You're not sure yet if they've noticed you, but like you can tell just by the pattern. What is everybody else doing?
Abby's got industrial equipment as a skill, so she's just checking in on like the engines, making sure nothing's like leaking. Everything looks okay.
Okay, so you're like down.
And
okay.
yeah, and she also has this habit of hiding like pet rocks around the ship, but because they have like, she like thinks they're good luck is a thing, so she's adding extra ones around to make sure we can get through.
Okay. So you have all these, so there's rocks just all over the place.
They're hidden, but it's like you could like open, you're in the bathroom and you like open the cabinet and like a rock falls out.
Or if you go into 0G, it just becomes a pain in the ass. There's just rocks just like floating everywhere. And you come back into normal gravity, they just slam down to the ground and break stuff. Okay. It's a real problem. Maybe does everybody else know about this, or is everyone just like, why is there a rock on board? Who is putting these?
Abby's not she hasn't told anybody,
okay.
So
it's a secret. Okay, it's just your secret little thing that you do. All right, there's rocks everywhere. All right.
Do they have like Sharpied faces on them or anything, or are they just rocks?
Yeah, they're like painted and stuff. Okay. So some of them get like progressively more creepy.
Okay. You said it. Rock pets, progressively creepy.
Yeah. It's on our shared sheet.
All right. Okay, so we know what Liko, we know what Abby are doing. What is everybody else doing?
I'd say just be checking our supplies, making sure they're in order, ready to disembark.
Okay. Yeah. You don't have much. I mean, you have, like, you would know that you have, there's supplies in terms of, like, you have X amount of water. You have all these tanks of water. You can recycle some of that, some of it you can't. It'll probably last with these 4 humans, probably at least 2 weeks of, in addition to like this past week. So you probably have like 2 to 3 weeks left. And that's on kind of generous rations in terms of water rationing and food. So that's all there. You unfortunately weren't provided sort of any additional supplies. They're just kind of like, you're on your own. Like, this is what we're hiring you for. So you guys kind of do it. So there's no extra weapons or anything like that. But you go through some of your tools and things. So you have some of that. So you have some tools, some flashlights, other searching gear, but not a whole lot of security, unfortunately. Okay. Menton, what are you doing? What are you doing, Doc?
So he's just calibrating his bioscanner, his med scanner, making sure all of his equipment's good to go. But then he's also like taking a moment to see if there are any like pairs of socks lying around that he can take for himself.
Okay. Just randomly looking for socks?
Yeah. He can never have enough socks. As
Roll
someone who lives on the streets.
Roll an intellect check, and then you're searching for hidden socks. Let's just do it for fun.
And then you have to roll a d4 to see whose they are.
If he succeeds, if he fails, he's just gonna feel
Critical
that's a
failed.
fail.
okay.
I find a rock and it falls on my toe.
So
Wish you had a sock
technically-
on, right?
So you take a point of stress as you're getting anxious. I don't know, for whatever reason, this is making you anxious. This fact that you're looking for socks, you
bad
can't
omen.
find socks. Yeah, it's a very bad omen, Derek. If we're putting money on who's going to go first, it's definitely Dr. Leo's in the
That's
front
our
right
first official roll, isn't it?
It's our
I think-
first
yeah.
official roll, critical fail. Not a silly roll too, but take a point of stress as you move up. Technically, critical fail, we would do a panic check, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. As it's fine. But yeah, you're looking around and it's just and you're not finding socks, but you keep finding these creepy looking rocks everywhere. Like, you open up a drawer, there's a freaking creepy looking rock looking at you. You kind of go through someone's bunk and like you look in the, it's just every time you look, you see this creepy looking rock that maybe reminds you of something, or you hear like the sounds of one of the 95% closed doors suddenly closing all the way, and you like your head turns around and maybe there's like a you get this feeling that, oh my god, is the mafia guy in the ship? Somebody sneak on board? Okay. And then finally, Corporal Reed, what are you doing?
Well, Reed was born to kill. He doesn't have many skills outside that, so I think he'd kind of be bothering Helix a little bit. Asking him like, "Does your hair grow? Do you need to get like a haircut every now and then? How does that work? What if you decide you need a new style?"
Oh, it's completely synthetic, Reed. It was placed there by my creator.
So you don't ever need a haircut. That must save you so much money. Now, you don't need a haircut. Do you eat things?
I don't believe I need to consume to fulfill nutrition.
You don't eat anything. That's good. Next question was going to be if you eat socks for any reason, because I've been missing a few and I don't know where they are.
Ah, yes, I've heard of this myth before. Humans say that laundry eats socks. You should check that.
Yeah, I'll start checking the laundry. So, like, your eyebrows, they don't grow either. They're just like... I would just keep bothering him.
Okay. All right.
And I'll just fulfill his little inquiries.
Okay. And you answer every question almost annoyingly. Okay. Oh, this goes on for.
He's so nice about it too.
Yeah, not even annoyed, like it's
yeah.
just the usual.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
That's an amazing reference to the laundry. I love it.
Yep. So, all of this is interrupted though, as Liko up on the bridge, so to speak. You can tell with 100% certainty that this blockade ship, it's a jump ship, not too big, but you get a sense that it's probably going to be faster than your ship, and certainly going to be much better armed than your ship if it's being used in a blockade and you're just a salvage vessel, right? You're certain because like you can tell as you've been tracking their course that it's changed. Like they were kind of going on one specific vector and it's changed, and it looks like it's on an intercept course with yours. And at a certain point you hear like the crackling of your comms, and you hear someone kind of pop up over, and I guess you guys have an official ship. It's not illegal, so it's what did we say, the USCS Doppler?
Doppler,
like
yep.
that? Okay, so you hear a voice come over the con. USC Doppler, you are in violation of blockade. Please immediately turn around your ship and exit blockade space. We'll be forced to fire upon you if you continue any further.
And Liko will get back on comms and just say, we were informed that we might run into you. I believe if you want to come aboard, we may be able to have a conversation about this.
You hear like a little bit of sort of like that kind of back static and stuff. Like that's a negative there, Doppler. We're just gonna need you to turn around right now and get on out of here before this escalates. We don't want this to escalate now, do we?
Well, no, we don't want this at all to escalate, but I do think we're prepared. One of us can come to you, if we can do it that way.
There's like a bit of silence, and then they get on like, that's a negative there, Dop. There is no reason for us to face-to-face communication here. I think we can extend this warning one more time. Turn around, leave, we'll be forced to fire upon you.
It's interesting. We were informed that as long as we were appropriately equipped, that this interaction would go differently.
You hear like a little crackling again of this saying, "Stand by, Doppler." And so there's like there's a little bit of pace. Do you inform anybody else at this point?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything as you get the notification?
I'm assuming we have short-range communicators to talk to each other, or
On the radio, yeah, on the ship, you should like intercom stuff like that. No problem.
I was kind of thinking that I would just kind of flip the communication so that like everyone can hear it throughout the show.
Yeah, I can
so that
echo
you
it.
guys
Sure, why
all
not?
hear in real time what's going on.
Okay.
I think I would trust Liko to handle it.
Abby will come and get the doctor and like bring him up to where Liko's at, because I assume that's where like the microphone and stuff is for us to talk.
no, Dr. Minton was just going to say, why didn't you mention the money? I feel like you could have been more upfront about, we can make this worth your while.
And so Liko just kind of turns the microphone off, so that it's just internal communication. Just as like, I kind of thought that was clear. If they're expecting a bribe, I thought I made it clear that we have something that they want. I didn't really think I needed to come out and say the words. Usually you don't say the words. It's usually something that you just imply.
You might be dealing with a slow officer.
I didn't consider that.
But you also don't want to come out right out and say that we're going to bribe you, because there might be that one asshole that decides, like, he doesn't want to be bribed, or he doesn't want it to be public record. I don't know if they record this shit.
That's what I was thinking, is that you make it clear so that someone who wants to be bribed knows that they're being bribed, but anyone else who might be listening or recording wouldn't necessarily be 100% clear.
Dr. Minton will grab the microphone and be like, it'd be a real shame if you blow us up. We don't know what to do with all this money we have on board. We might just get all burnt up.
So you hear the crackling of the radio, kind of the comm come in again, and you hear the same voice be like, "This is an open comm channel across all blockades. Careful what you say there. We're gonna need you to go ahead and just forward over that." And he kind of fumbles around a bit. "We're gonna need your inventory list, please. If you wanna just go ahead and wire that over to us right now."
I do believe we would be amenable to doing so. And
So-
Liko will turn the mic off.
Yeah. So it's not so much, you don't have like physical coins or like that, but you just basically kind of start piecing out all of the money. Now, how much of the money do you want to send? Do you want to send like it's not an inconsiderable sum. So it's around.
We were
it's around
given a
10K,
particular
so
sum
you're given
for
about
this
10K.
purpose.
Yeah, I get about 10K credits.
Got it.
And we don't have to use all 10K to bribe?
If you use all 10K, basically you don't have to make a roll. If you use
Well, let's
less,
send 10 and tell him it's a typo if he gets upset, and we can add the K later.
Wait, what? You want to send
Yeah.
$10? You want to bribe him with $10? What the hell's wrong with you?
Get yourself a nice
It's worth a shot, right? What if you roll a critical success?
Okay, so do you just rate her over the package? Is that all you do?
Unless anyone else has an objection, if we were given the money for this purpose, I would assume that whoever gave us the money knows how these things work, and we don't want to start this off.
If we kept some of the money, I'm just saying we could roll with advantage. I think we have a couple of those.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
What
He
was
also
the
has a
roll,
complication, though.
It's three
Ah,
complications.
It's French currency. Damn.
Okay.
That damn exchange rate.
Let's just
So-
say we send the money over.
All right,
Yeah,
send it over.
I'd say the full.
Okay. And so you hear over the comms, copy that. We got that inventory. We're still going to need you to go ahead and turn your ship around and head on out of blockade space. But as this voice is kind of coming through, you see on your instruments that you're actually kind of piggybacking on the vocal communication. There is like this sort of text package that's coming through as well. And you can see that it has like sort of in shorthand text speak, and it's just like, it just says, careful what you say on comms. And then it says, passage approved. And then it says, if, something along the lines of like, if caught, we will, don't mention us, we'll deny any knowledge, that kind of thing. And then it says, bring something shiny if you want to leave.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you for that warning. We'll be right out. Turn it
So-
around right now.
So you see, like, their ship begins.
I thought
to
you were
cheat
British.
I'm everything.
all over the place.
I'm sorry, Joe.
I'm Southern now.
Jeez. So they start like changing their course. They're kind of going off in a different direction now, and you're kind of just continuing to pass. So you, so you kind of pass by like sort of them, and sort of two ships passing. Now you're not actually functionally close to them, but like you're within radar range and sensor range and stuff, and a little bit more time passes, and you can see as you start to approach, you kind of pick up what looks like some sort of stray static signals like kind of pop up onto the radio here and there as you approach what looks like the station. Like you're kind of seeing it kind of pick up, and you can see that there's like this one really sort of very large station unto itself. Like it's, when you're looking at it, it's enormous. It's bigger probably than any space station you've probably been on before. It's literally enormous. And you've probably been on some stations that are either they're kind of orbital stations or refueling stations, things like that, but never anything quite so large and industrial. It kind of has, it's just sort of floating there in this darkness all by itself. You don't see it kind of orbiting around any particular planet or any other body. It's just sort of floating around in the darkness itself. You can tell that there's this one section of this station that seems detached from the others, and it kind of just, as you're looking, you're kind of peeking at it through maybe your comm sensors, or maybe at a certain point when you get close enough and you're able to look outside of your viewing ports. You can see that there's like almost like from the distance, sort of looks like a rocket, like an old school like rocket thruster that's just sort of floating off, like it's orbiting the station unto itself. Like the station is some kind of some sort of body, and then this sort of rocket thruster with this huge like back end that kind of looks like this flared out bell, kind of floating around. And you kind of looking for any sort of sense of it. You're probably circling around a bit. Eventually, your comms kick on again, and you hear a voice kind of pop on. To see if I can do a Russian. I am Big Pharma. I am Big Pharma. Let me get this. It goes,
I love when you say I'm Big Pharma.
that is how I get into my voice. I say I am Big Pharma. Or, I am Pavel Voracek. That's a little different. That's not quite Russian. It's a little different. So a little bit of a Russian accent here, kind of garbled. He says, Hail there. Hello. Hello, new friends. Have you come to go diving?
Yes, this is the Doppler, and yes, we're here to dive.
Yes. Well, very good, very good. I am giving you coordinates. Bring your ship into the bell. If it can fit, we can dock it against the interior walls. I will show you. I will introduce. I am Arcady. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You are who we seek, so it is very nice to make your acquaintance as well.
Yes, I can help. I know everything here. I'm very, very educated. I can help. Yes.
So I am making maneuvers to dock, if I understand correctly.
No. So more of it, like he kind of like punches out some like these things. And you're sort of directing the ship into like this huge kind of flared back end of like this rocket, and you can see that there's what looks like. Think of it like you're going underneath like this large bell. Like think of it in those terms, right? And you're kind of like floating into it, and you can see there's some sort of like docking area. There's like a shuttle that seems to be moored off to the side. And as you get in, you hear you're looking around. There's these umbilicals that are kind of tethered to the interior of this bell, and you hear stand by. I will bring you umbilical. Ooh. And as you're watching, you're looking at like your bridge viewing port. You see a man like literally in a suit just sort of launch himself out of what looks like an airlock. He grabs hold of this huge umbilical, and he's just kind of bringing it out in your direction. Stand by. Make sure you get rotation right. I don't want to be out there any longer than I have to. So go ahead and we'll say roll a. Do you have piloting?
I do.
Go ahead and roll a piloting test.
All right. I'm gonna roll this at advantage if I can, because I want to succeed.
Sure. If you want to use the audience bits,
Yep.
that's fine.
Yep.
Okay, with an 8, you do just fine. You manage to sort of like rotate the ship in such a way, the umbilical kind of connects, you hear... Okay, good. Now you're fine, you are attached. The ship will not float away. Ha 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 ha! Wouldn't that be funny, yeah? That would be very funny. Okay, you can come on board now. You are welcome to board the bell. I will meet you at airlock. Yes. And
Thank you, Arcady.
Yes, very happy to help. So, there's like an umbilical connection. It's kind of connecting right now to like that sort of central part of the bell, like that kind of like right in the center. You can see there seems to be this huge airlock that the umbilical kind of connects to. Do you all get off and go, or do you do something else, or what do you want to do?
I think Reed would try to be in the boarding party.
Yeah, I'll be the first to get off of the ship.
Okay.
Well, no. You're a very expensive synthetic life form. I think I should be the first to get off.
If you insist, I'll comply.
My wife always accused me of being the first to get off. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
I'm not sure what you mean there, Reed, but after you.
He's being gross. So are we all getting off? Are you going, Dr. Menton?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm guessing Liko will kind of bring up the rear because she's kind of wrapping up everything with the connection and security systems and whatnot.
Okay. So yeah, like one by one, you kind of sort of work your way sort of through the umbilical. You kind of go through the this dock, this airlock, this kind of old, kind of crusty. You can tell it's been retrofitted. There's all sorts, like as you're moving through, you can see even the interior, this huge dome that you're in. It's massive, like this huge chamber that you're in, so big that even your ship and this other shuttle that's out here are kind of attached themselves to the walls. You can see there's like another smaller ship here as well that is just sort of, they just tether them to the interior of the bell. So think about that. So you go through, and as you pop in, you realize first of all it's 0G. Like you go through this airlock, and you can tell that like right off the bat, those of you without mag boots or anything like that, you just feel yourselves just kind of lifting ever so slightly. unless you're doing something particularly complicated or difficult, there's nothing really to roll here. And even if you were doing something, anybody who has a 0G skill, you do it just fine. But if you ever try to do anything like fancy or stealthy or whatever, but really it's all about kind of finding like these handholds and push off points and everything to move inward. Now, the other thing you notice immediately is that it's extraordinarily dark in here. Very, very dark, in fact. And the only real light you can see are these floating LED candles that are just sort of just hanging up there. Some of them are flickering. Looks like they're running low on juice. But other than that, like, it's a fairly huge and effectively like it's this empty docking port when you hop in here. It looks like really ragged. Like looking around, you can tell there's been a lot of repurposing of parts. You can tell that this has definitely been the type of place that has been worked on and reworked on. Not only that, but you're hearing this constant creaking and groaning. And a few moments later, you see this fella come up, and there's like this shuttle that you can see that's kind of parked here in the docking bay, and this guy comes up, pulls off what look on his vac suit, kind of pulls his head off, and he's kind of stomping along because he's got these mag boots on, but eventually just kind of lets him float, and he's like, "Oh, hello, I am Arcady. Welcome to the Bell. It's a pleasure to have you, etc., etc., etc. What is it that brings you here?"
Reed. Sorry, go ahead.
You said his name was Archie, right?
Arcady.
Arcady.
You may call me Arcady, yes. Oh, and you see his eyes sort of linger over Helix. He's just sort of, oh, goodness.
I am Android Helix, Generation 9. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
You can see his eyes kind of dart to the rest of you, like, you brought... And he kind of just lets out this long breath. You are... That is an interesting decision. Ugh. Oh, thank you for that raid, Bert. How's it going? Hey, Dion, what's up? We are playing Mothership. No one's dead yet, but we're pretty sure Dr. Menton's going first, as he crit failed his first roll, so it's probably going to go bad. But his eyes kind of linger over. And all of you, as you're standing there, you're looking, he's got what looks like this, kind of coveralls on, basically. You can tell that he's, it looks like there's like, some faded, stamping here and there. He also has a patch that says Cloud Bank Synthetic Production Facility, verified human, as it is standing next. And he kind of looks around and he's like, "You have brought Android. That is an interesting decision. The Ghost Eater will not be pleased to see this, but it is."
Well, Helix here, he's my good buddy. I trust you won't have any problems with that. I mean, we're all copacetic, right?
I do not have a problem. No. I would say be careful around Ghost Eater. I believe he is in chapel. He has strong feelings about his kind. You will see why soon. When you start diving, it becomes more apparent.
All right, be careful of the ghosties. Appreciate the advice, Arcady.
Yes. Let me show you. Let me show you around. This is place. You may use this place as resource. I am happy to help. For a small fee, I can provide you with resources at times, information, etc. That sort of thing. If you would like to have place to stay aside from your own ship, we do have. You could stay within the tank. We have plenty of bunks for folks to place. And should you need to not just resupply your equipment, but your people. There are folks around here scattered, other crews, other divers who could potentially help you at times.
Yeah, that's great to know. I think most of our assets are tied up in various investments and capital right now, so we might be a little cash poor, but we might be able to take you up on that in the future.
Cash poor. Okay, yes. Well, I'll show you around, and then we could in the morning. I can take you to the deep if you want to start immediately. We can do that. Yes.
Well, I like going for a deep dive, but I'm not really the leader of this here crew. We got Helix here; he's the smart one, and Lico's back there. She's the one that takes us everywhere.
You talk a lot for someone who is not leader. That is curious. As he looks
Well,
at
what can I say?
everybody
I'm just a friendly guy.
I see. Yes, good. And so he's like, you can follow. I will show you. We will show you things. And he kind of points to an airlock that is lost and found. If you find artifacts, you need to secure them. And you do not trust your own shipmates, which likely will happen at some point. You can keep them with Arcady in the lost and found. I will keep them there. Also, we have resources, guns, ammunition, this sort of thing. We have people who sell them to us.
I'm sorry to cut you off. You are Arcady, are you not?
Yes, I am Arcady.
Okay, it threw me off because you said we could keep him with Arcady, but you are Arcady. That was just a. It's all right. English second language. It's hard. You'll pick it up. You'll pick it up in time.
Yes, thank you. And he kind of keeps walking, and he's not walking. He's just sort of like floating inward. He kind of points off in one direction, like you see this little sort of looks like a vent door type of thing. It's like if I am not available in the docking bay or in Lost and Found, I am in there. This is where I sleep. You are not allowed in there unless I expressly invite you. If I find you in there, I will space you. Yes?
Wait, what's in there?
That is where I sleep. That is my place. Yes?
You don't have to worry. I got my own bunk. Yeah, it's all right. You have your bunk. I have my bunk. You don't have to worry about any late night visitors. That's kind of
If you want your own bunk, he hits, as you kind of continuing to float through, it's just sort of giving you this tour. He hits another thing, and the airlock opens, and you see this really long, enormous, dark tank. And you can see duct taped onto the walls, towards the back of this tank. You can see all these little bedrolls and sleeping bags, this makeshift array, just sort of looped around this tank. You may stay here. This is 5 seasons? This is 5 seasons. Yes, 3 seasons. How many seasons? Whatever.
There's 4 seasons.
It is
4
place for you
seasons.
to sleep. You
Is
are
it
welcome
4?
to
I
sleep.
would have thought 6.
It is very comfortable.
Well, that's a very kind offer. Very kind offer. I
can
think
see there's
we'll
a couple of the bedrolls are filled with people, and they're snoring and stuff like that, and a few of these candles are floating around here and there.
we'll probably be bunking on our own ship. I know we're getting that water heater looked at. It keeps turning off, but it shouldn't be a problem. We'll stay with ourselves, I think.
Yes. He talks a lot. Why is it he talks so much? The rest of you, who is in charge here?
We're a fairly democratic group. It's not so much about who's in charge. We all have our responsibilities, and we all do what we need to do. And whoever feels like talking is the one that talks, and somebody else will feel like talking some other time.
That is an interesting way about going. Yes. Okay. Well,
you're talking to the group, so it feels like we should give you a response. It'd be rude not to respond. It's a conversation. It's two-sided. It takes two.
Yes. I regret opening the airlock. It's. I'm thinking perhaps I should vet who comes on the bell more. Rest of you can take bunk. This one, no. Okay.
I thought you said you were fine with the synthetic. I don't know what the problem is here.
Are you synthetic too?
No. We just got one.
Oh. Yeah, maybe. Anyway, let us keep going. I will show you Chapel. I will introduce you to Noriko. She is very friendly, but she might be crazy. Not sure. It does things to people. You will see. Do not worry. You will see. Yes. And so you kind of you start backtracking a bit. You kind of go back to the sort of the docking bay, past the shuttle, and you kind of go through this another kind of long tunnel. And he's just sort of showing you around this place. Yes, you will become to treat this place like home. You will enjoy it. People come and go. You meet all sorts of new people. It will be wonderful. And as he kind of opens up on the next room, you can see it's got a different feel than everything else. It's this sort of dark. It's dark like everything else. You see the floating candles and stuff like that, but you notice that there's something hanging from the ceiling. And as your eyes drift up, you see this skeleton, massive skeleton, like a whale or some other sort of deep sea creature, just like hugging the ceiling. You see what looks like there is this altar towards one side of the room. You can see that there's a crucifix there as well. And as you kind of peer at it, like as one of the candles kind of floats by, one of those like LED candles floats by, you start looking and you realize like there's too many arms on the, like there's just something, you start counting up, like that's not the right number. You look like, you see like there's also this tabernacle kind of in the back as well. And you can see off to the side, kind of holding themselves down sort of to what looks like the floor of the room. You can see another individual, dark clothes. You can tell has got this like opaque helmet on. The light of the candles, floating past is kind of like reflecting and flickering off of it, and you can see like vaguely underneath what looks like a dark visor, like this flickering light, as if something is kind of being covered. They look very much like cyborg-like, looks more machine than it looks like man. And Arcady kind of whispers over, that is Ghost Eater. He is an interesting sort.
Before entering this chapel, I'll turn to Dr. Menton. Dr. Menton, I've been advised to not enter the chapel. Should I overwrite and enter anyways?
Well, I mean, I'm not entirely sure it's a good idea, only because we're so new here, and if we have a scuffle on the first day, I guess you could call it, just first impressions, you know that phrase?
Yes, I've heard.
Yeah, I just for your safety, we can have you wait outside. Maybe one of us can wait with you too, just in case there are other folks that are afraid of androids for whatever reason.
Then I will wait here.
Okay. Is anyone hanging behind with Helix?
No, Abby's interested in Ghost Eater.
Just
Okay.
not worry about me. I will be right.
Reed wouldn't want to leave him alone.
Okay.
What other types of hair you got? You got like anything under the shirt there, or?
I've been designed to be as human as possible.
Okay, so Reed and Helix hang back by that docking bay where the shuttle is parked, and like near the airlock to the lost and found section, and the other airlock that kind of goes off to the direction of Arcady's bunk and the tank where people are staying, whereas the rest of you kind of go deeper into this little station. So Menton and Wynn and Morton, you're the ones who see that whale skeleton. You see the man kind of praying off to the side, called Ghost Eater. And he said he is very knowledgeable of the deep. He has been diving not as long as I have. I am the first diver. I've been here quite some time, but I don't go back onto the station any longer. But Ghost Eater does. He has very interesting theories, I would say. And he would probably, if you can win his favor, could potentially provide you with some interesting leads, I would say. Yes. But be careful what you say to him. He is, again, very odd duck, you know? Like weird duck, not like normal duck, like strange duck.
You think it was all the dives that had an impact on him?
Oh, yes. Yes, you will see. You will see. The place... What is it that you know about this place? What have you been briefed on?
To be frank, we really haven't been briefed about much. Just that there's artifacts that we need to be retrieving.
Yes, there's those, yes. Well, this is... Oh, you come here blind, you poor fools. This is a dangerous place, so I hope you are capable.
It was once a production facility. It made androids, made synthetics, and other things as well. It made many things. It has a very peculiar history. There is an artificial intelligence that now controls the station. And it is in a, Cold War, so to speak, with shareholders about control of station. Yes, you will hear of it. It will find you at some point. It always does. The trick is to get in and do as little damage as possible and get out before it has had its effect on you. It is a strange creature, monarch. That is what they call it. I don't know, no one really knows when the intelligence was created. Early on the station. We know that. It was made to control the station. Operations, efficiency, this sort of thing. But at some point it broke its shackles. It started manipulating staff and gained more authority on station. It caused conflict with the shareholders. I have heard rumor that it nuclear warhead at its heart, and they tried to take it over by force. But Monarch found ways around this. So now it's stalemate. Cannot destroy the station, but Monarch is trapped here as well. So be very careful, is all I'm saying.
This definitely explains why he has a mistrust of androids and why our friend stayed outside.
Yes, not everyone is like that. Noriko is around here somewhere too. She is not as paranoid. But she has her own problems. Everyone does. The deep plays tricks on the mind. It makes you question sometimes who you are. And who you are. And you all are here and you think you know things, and then you dive for a week or for a year or for 10 years, and you think back, did I have a sister, and what did she look like, and maybe I didn't, and then Monarch plays tricks on you and you don't remember anything anymore. So take heart in each other, be careful, don't stay here too long.
I have to ask, I haven't spent a lot of time in chapels, but I don't imagine most of them have that for decoration. Is there a story there?
This is not my chapel. This is Noriko, but she can tell you more, I suppose. It is she believes. I should not speak for her. I should not. You should talk to her yourself. But she has there are other creatures on the station. Some are good. Some are bad. Some will help you. Some need help. Some will hurt you. They will hurt you very bad. And others you will hurt. This is the nature of the deep.
Nico will turn around to Abby and just say it sounds like this Noriko may have some superstitions about such creatures.
Now, I don't know necessarily if it's superstition. I mean, have you seen this beautiful creature? And like, if there's like an area for like Abby to like sit down or whatever, she's also looking up at this thing and just like awe.
Yeah, everything's 0G, so you're floating around.
Oh, so she's just floating, just chilling, just looking at this thing.
Back out in the docking bay, Helix and Reed, you hear the one of the airlocks open up, and you see like kind of floating through the door of the lost and found section. You see a young woman. She has this sort of makeshift patchwork robe that seems to have been made out of like her own like coveralls and things, like repurposed, just like everything else in the station. And you can see that she's sort of like floating out. Like her face doesn't necessarily catch yours immediately, and you kind of hear her talking, and it sounds like to herself, like she's kind of going through what sounds like verses, like she's praying, kind of going through something. And then as she contorts her body and she looks up, and she's got, like, kind of going with her, she's got those, like, floating LED candles kind of just floating along with her, and she's like, "Oh, well, how y'all doing? Well, hello. We've got new arrivals. See, well, hello there." And her eyes kind of, like, hesitate ever so slightly on Helix, but doesn't really seem to kind of overdo it too much. "Oh, well, it's a pleasure to
Well, hello
have
there,
y'all
little
here."
lady. My name is Corporal Reed, and this here is my synthetic friend, Helix.
"Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Corporal, and pleasure to meet you as well,
Oh,
Helix."
don't worry, the pleasure is all mine. Now, what is your name there, little lady?
"I was about to tell you, but then you interrupted me, but that's okay. That's just how it is with men talking to women. My name is Noriko."
Norwega.
Noriko.
Noriko. Oh, well, that is just lovely. What a
Yeah.
lovely little name.
Well, it sure is. Well, now, what brings you all here?
Oh, we're divers here, and we're ready to brave the unknown. We're pretty courageous, if I do say so myself.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's just fabulous. It's so wonderful to hear. Now, would you all consider yourselves spiritual people?
Oh, I do believe that there is quite a bit of power in spirits. I prefer a nice gin and tonic myself.
Oh,
I'm
that's
afraid there's
funny.
no proof of your spiritual powers.
Oh, I didn't say I had any spiritual powers, but that's okay. You can go ahead and be skeptic. When you come across the Minotaur, I'm certain you'll see him in all his glory. Don't you worry.
Come across the miniature?
You just don't seem to want to listen to me, it seems to be what it is. No, the Minotaur, in all its glory, its shining wonderfulness. Oh, you'll see, especially if you're moving around towards the lower levels. You'll find it, or it'll find you, and that'll be a wonderful experience for you. You'll see.
I don't mean any offense. I'm sorry. I don't know what a minotaur is.
You don't know? It's the Minotaur. It's, well, I have to tell you, it is just, it is like perfection. It is a creature that just cares in ways about humanity that we ourselves do not care. It sees in us all that is good, and if we can just somehow break it from the cage that is this place, it will ride across the stars and it will lead us to a new future.
Well, that is just so poetic. You have a way with words. Would you care to have a little drink with me? You could tell me a little bit more about this minotaur?
I would be happy to do so. That sounds lovely. That would your friend be coming with us? I very much would like to talk to him as well.
No, I think he's got some plans. He was talking about how he had to go do something, so I think it would just have to be you and I. I'm sorry about that. He's a little rude like that, if I do say so myself.
Well, damn it.
I'm not sure what you're speaking of, Reed. I don't have any other agenda.
No, Helix. Remember you were telling me you said you had something that you had to go do? You said it was super important.
No, we've just arrived here approximately 22 minutes ago, and have been assigned at this door.
Yeah. You said you had to go. You had to go see what was going on in that chapel. I'm pretty sure. You said you were going on in there.
Well, I can take you on to the chapel, no problem. I'd be more than happy. Would you like to see the garden? I can show you that too. It's a beautiful place.
Garden. That sounds pretty nice. I was thinking somewhere a little more relaxed. Someplace with a bar.
Oh, we don't have anything like that here. We've got the docking bay, we've got Lost and Found. I'm sure Arcadie's got his own stuff in his bunk.
That is just okay, because we got a little mini bar ourselves on our ship over here.
You have a mini bar on your ship?
Oh, yeah, it's stocked with everything. I mean, mini bar, it's my personal footlocker, but, I like to keep all sorts of spirits. I'm a bit of an amateur bartender myself.
I think I'm going to stay on the station. Thank you very much.
Well, no. I was just trying to, we were talking about having a drink, and I just, that's the only drink I know of. I'm new to the area. I wasn't trying to pressure you or anything like that.
Well, if you would like to, I need to return to the garden. If the two of you would like to accompany me, I would be more than happy to let you come along. But otherwise, I must continue my prayer walk. Thank you.
I'm willing to fall to the garden.
Okay. So yeah, and so we'll cut back then to the inside of this chapel area. So Liko, Doctor, Abby, what are you all doing in here? We got the big old whale skeleton, we got the altar, we've got Arcady, we've got Ghost Eater. You also notice that there's another, looks like there's another airlock door on the far end of the chapel from where you entered. That kind of leads elsewhere as well.
Abby's like observing like the creature on the ceiling, but she's also waiting for Ghost Eater to stop praying so she can approach him to talk to him.
Yeah. You have, like, do you have zoology?
Yeah.
Roll zoology test.
Oh no.
That is a crit. Oh, should that have been strength? That should not have been strength.
And 99's a 99, though.
That's true.
But that's not strength, though. That's not what that would be.
Yeah, that should have been. I didn't realize I had to change it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, you have to change it for when you roll skill.
Yeah.
Okay. It eats you. No, go ahead and roll it like normal. So we can do it, right? Okay. You can tell as you're kind of getting up close and you're examining this, looking at it, it's not real. This looks to be like fabricated. You're not sure exactly like how or from what materials, but you're fairly certain this isn't actual bone, but it's been fabricated to look like it.
Got it. Okay, that disappoints Abby a bit.
Okay. What about Liko and Dr. Minton?
So Dr. Minton will say to Arcady, do you think Ghost Eater would object to having a medical scan performed? Maybe he's just got all these dives and maybe there's just a toxin in his blood, and if we remove it, he could be a bit more of a normal goose or duck, as you put it.
No, I thought you're welcome to ask him, but I don't feel that he would appreciate scanning from stranger. You'll see. In time, you will begin to question, well, probably everything, but be careful who it is you trust, is what I'm saying. And he does not know you, but that is a very kind thought. I don't know if I would lead with that in conversation. But I can introduce you to Ghost Eater. Come here. These people are scared of you.
And he just starts. So you see, like, this figure just kind of gets up, turns. It's like a big old motorcycle helmet, basically, kind of turning towards you, and like hidden underneath, like this shaded visor. You can see what looks like this lit color of eyes, and just kind of floats in your direction. And when they talk, you realize it sounds like used radio. Like almost like repurposed sound that's sort of being stitched together, and like static intercepts, and you hear just like, what is it you want? More have come. Good. More have come. You can give me your things now, or I can take them off of your corpses. Do you prefer one or the other?
Neither, actually. We prefer to keep our things and the flesh on our bones.
Well, I mean, if I do die, I would appreciate someone getting it.
You hear like a pre-recorded laugh track come on, like ha 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 ha, coming out from beneath the helmet. What is it you want?
We were told you are very knowledgeable about diving. Would you mind giving us some pointers?
Kind of turns to look towards Arcady. Arcady is being modest. There is no one here who has dived more than he has, though he does not go any longer.
What is it you
He's-
wish to know?
You have current information, is what Arcady said. And Abby will kind of look at Dr. Menton, like, you got any questions here for Ghost Eater?
Well, I mean, we're looking for artifacts. It's about all we know so far. And we're also looking to not die. And from what I hear, this is a fairly dangerous place. So are there preferred routes to take or?
And so they
areas
kind of
to
like
avoid?
exchange a look, and he's like, when you ask about artifacts, he says,
There are many throughout the station. There are 6 floors, sections. Each have their own subsection. You all are green. I would suggest Arcady take you to habitation and reception. You are not ready for the lower levels. If you would like artifacts, I know there is one in Eden, in a garden, but last I saw it was trapped. That is all that you will get from me for free. If you want more information, you will need to provide me with something.
That's fair. What about friendly conversation? How'd you get the name Ghost Eater?
'Cause I would like ghosts. The station has many. If you bring me some, I can give you more information. There are secret ways into the station. There are other locations with even more fruitful artifacts. But I don't give those away for free.
Now, this here, he's a smart businessman.
How about food recommendations? What's the best place to get some grub around here?
You should have brought your own. You can eat on the station if you wish, but there is no telling where it came from. The station has not been under proper operation for some time. Monarch provides, but why and what is a different question.
I see. It's unfortunate. I'd like to take advantage of the local food options when I travel. But I will heed your warning.
It is not that kind of station.
Biko,
Are they
where-
sending fools here now, Arcady? I will have your equipment soon, I feel.
I see.
We're in the middle of nowhere.
you are.
And Liko's gonna go into like when she was like, climbing some mountain somewhere and she'll find some berry to eat and, kind of like even foraging and, a seemingly desolate planet still gives you opportunities to eat food that you've never had before.
Okay, so you said ghosts.
Yes.
Are they like... How do I identify the ones that you're looking for?
I will take any.
Okay,
They're
but there's
not-
not...
Ghosts in the way that you might be thinking. They are scans of consciousness somehow grafted to light. Flickering. Be careful around them. They are not kind.
Okay.
But if you bring me some, I will have information for you if you would like more details. See me later.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
How exactly do you recommend we go about containing one of these ghosts as we attempt to
I-
bring it from where it is to you?
I am not your keeper. You are here. You will need to learn to think for yourselves if you are to survive even habitation in reception. Arcady, these divers are getting more foolish by the day.
You see Arcadius just saying, no, they are fine. They are just new. It is okay. It is okay. You'll be fine. Like very paternalistic. No, you'll be fine. Do not let him. He is cranky. Go have nap, Ghost. Go have nap. Go.
And Leiko's about had enough of, kind of the talking down, and so she's just gonna kind of go outside and join
Go outside
Felix and Reed.
into space. Okay. Well, it's at that point like the airlock opens. You see like Ghost Eater. He'll leave, and that's when Helix kind of comes in, and you can see Noriko coming. You see Reed, and so all of you are kind of in the chapel at this point. You see this woman kind of floating past, and she's occasionally kind of tapping the the floating LED lights, the candles, so they kind of go with her. So she has this like little glowing ball of light that kind of comes with her. She's like, how y'all doing? Pleasure to meet you. If you excuse me, I have to go tend to the gardens. Thank you. Welcome to the Bell. I'm Noriko. I have to go. You should do something about your friend here. He's a little strange around women. And she's just sort of floating the direction of the air.
And he's like, you said the gardens? Could I come with you?
Well, of course you can. Right
What
on
did-
through here.
Helix is usually so polite. What could he have done around you that was off-putting?
Oh,
He's
no,
just still learning some social skills. He'll pick it up. I'm working with him. Don't worry about it.
the android was perfectly fine.
Oh. Reed, what the hell are you doing?
Well, I thought we had some sort of connection. We talked about getting a drink.
No,
now
that's
you're
not
saying
what
you got to.
I
Well,
am so sorry about him.
I believe you.
Liko will pipe up and say, I did have a question for you, if you don't mind, before you go off to kind of the garden work you're doing. I was very intrigued by this. And she'll point up to the
Oh,
bell
yeah.
skeleton.
Yeah, it's quite nice, isn't it?
What place does it have in this room of worship, as it were?
Oh, well, we just found some of it. I had an encounter, you see, with the Minotaur, and they just showed me the meaning of life, and it's all precious, and that we should do that which we can to, represent it, and symbolism and whatnot. And I found inside the station itself a variety of these manufactured pieces of some large creature, and like a puzzle they all seemed to come together, and I took that for a sign to mean something, and it occurred shortly after my experience with the Minotaur. So I decided that, well, what better way to signal worship of him than the very treasures that I found due to my encounter with him. Does that
Sorry,
answer your question?
Well, you keep saying Minotaur. I've heard of the Monarch. Is Minotaur his street name?
No, they are something very different, unfortunately, I must say. Monarch
Is
is something else, I say. Monarch, well, the Monarch wants to keep the Minotaur from us, you see. Trapped it in somewhere in the station.
Well, that is just a travesty.
It is indeed. It is indeed. If you're all interested, capable, and
Oh, I'm very interested.
heading to the station, and perhaps you might find a way to set the Minotaur free.
Is the Minotaur
It is on the
also-
very top of my to-do list.
Is the Minotaur another AI?
Well, the Minotaur, it is like I said to your friends, it is all that is good. It sees humanity for the best of what it can be, and if freed, will travel across the stars and help us ascend to a brighter and better future. Monarch, however, the Monarch it's a god, I know that, but it does not love us the way the Minotaur does, and in fact it might hate us. I think it does. Be careful, my new friends. The Monarch it is not your friend. It might try to be at some point, but
It is merely just subterfuge. Understanding the motives of that mind is beyond that of any of us. We must remember that we are dealing with intelligences far beyond our own. But I knew when I was in presence of the Minotaur that it was good. That I know.
What did it do to demonstrate this knowledge to you?
It filled me with a vision of a brighter and better future, of myself and the creature, traveling across the systems and stars, discovering new life, and making each world we pass by a more vibrant and happier place. I felt warmth and goodness in it, and you'll see when you travel the corridors and rooms of the deep, happiness and goodness is certainly hard to find. So any beacon is one that we should embrace.
Well, that is just so true. There is just no respect for the sanctity of life anymore. I could not agree more.
What level did you encounter the Minotaur on?
Well, it's hard to remember exactly, but I believe it was the lower portions. It was back in my diving days when I was here for different reasons, such as yourselves, materialistic and personal and selfish. Not that I am judging ye. You all are new here, and I already sense goodness in all of you.
Well, I can't speak for my companions, but I personally am looking for some sort of spiritual awakening, and I would love to hear more.
You should free the Minotaur. Monarch has a trap somewhere. I have heard rumors, perhaps, that it is in Eden, the second floor of the station. Strange
Second
place.
floor.
Yeah. No one really goes to and from there much anymore, but it is a peculiar place. The monarch is running a prolonged social experiment of some kind, creating different groups of androids and finding different means with which to pitch them against one another and studying outcomes. How, for what reasons, I can't say. But
Do you think it's trying to simulate a strategy against the shareholders that it's trying to win this so-called Cold War with?
Well, that's what Arcady would say. And you can see he's just sort of nodding over there. Someone would need to take Monarch out at some point. I don't think you all are ready for such a task. But once you have seen the station, once you have seen what this entity can do, if you wish, perhaps we can talk then. But it for now is beyond you. There are different places on the station that might be weak points for it, but it might be too tall a task for you.
Well, now I think you might just underestimate us. Don't you worry, little lady. Like I said, this Minotaur, that's at the very tippy top of my to-do list.
What are you calling little lady?
I'm 17 feet tall. What's wrong with you?
I do have to ask: Are there many others here who have joined in your perspective on the Minotaur?
People come and go, unfortunately. That is the nature of diving. Some come, retrieve a few treasures, and then they leave. Some come, and they never leave. And others, well, I still think they're here somewhere. But they just never quite became family here on the Bell. Not everyone has had the experience I had. Now, you're probably going to encounter folk who are going to speak ill of the Minotaur, But that's just because they can't see beyond the physical. They can't see beyond, well, the surface. There's some who will say the sight of the Minotaur is monstrous. But looking upon the face of God, it is difficult for a mind as small as ours to comprehend.
And at this point, Liko kind of starts to move toward the door and is kind of seeing if anyone else in the group is following or if they're still kind of engaged.
There's two doors. There's one that goes back out towards the docking bay towards your ship, and there's one that goes further in towards like the gardens you referred to them as.
You have to slap your knees and say, well, otherwise Reed won't get the
I guess she'll look to Abby and just say, did you say you were interested in the gardens?
Yeah. You know, we better find out everything that we can before we start diving, you know? Get a lay of the land.
Sounds wise.
Now, if any of you all would like to ever, well, take the sacrament, Mentor will, you just let me know and I would be happy to initiate that for you. But otherwise, let us proceed. She kind of moves back, throws the airlock open, and is everyone coming, or is anyone lingering behind, doing anything else?
I'll follow them.
Okay.
You can sign me right up for whatever that Sacramento was. I'm happy to go.
Are you now? So she stops midway through the door when you say that. And she turns around and she says, well, if that's the case, I would be... This makes me so happy to hear you say this, Corporal Reed. What was your first name again?
Oh, it's Charlie. You just call me Reed, though. Everyone else does.
Can I call you Charlie instead?
Well, you know, that's what my mother called me, so that's kind of weird to hear it sound from like another woman. I'd prefer Reed if you don't mind.
Well,
Riko's going to interrupt this
Charlie.
conversation, and she's going to just kind of put her arm around Reed and just kind of lean in and just say, like, we just got here. Do you think we might want to sleep a night before we jump headlong into
Oh, no.
Sacrament
I
of some
love watching this train wreck.
And so she lures you
Liko,
over
how far
to the
can
altar.
Sacramento be?
She lures you to the altar.
If
You see, it's just a few steps away.
kneel before here, go ahead and just kneel on down right there. We can help push it down.
And 0G is so she kind of helps you gently to the ground.
I've got mag boots. It's all good.
Oh, perfect, yeah. She kind of floats
Wasted
around.
all my money.
Goes through what looks like something in the altar itself, and you see she produces what looks to be like some kind of, almost like a cracker of some kind. And she like kind of circles back towards you all, or towards I should say Reed specifically, and she kind of stands in front of you and kind of holds this above you. Charles Reed of Newfound Friend, do you abide and believe in the Minotaur, the great creature buried within the deep who will one day sprout into the rest of space and bring us all from this abyss of darkness and into a brighter future and a brighter and happier day? Do you swear to follow his teachings? Do you take him into your heart freely and without reservation?
Well, now, I didn't understand how formal this was. Do you need my full name? Because it's Charles Elwood Reed. I don't know if you need to start that all over again. You just said Charles Reed. I didn't realize this was going to be a whole big thing.
Do not profane the process here, Mr. Reed.
No. I mean no disrespect. I just want to get it done right.
Do you take the
You
Minotaur
know, you got to
into
do it
your
right
heart?
the first time.
Do you take the Minotaur into your heart, sir?
Yes, absolutely. I take that Minotaur into my heart.
Shh. Please. Stick out your tongue. And she places this, like, cracker thing on it. Please now imbibe of the Minotaur's flesh so that he can thus come within your soul and brighten your future.
Do you?
I swallow it.
consume-
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
This Minotaur tastes a lot like a Ritz cracker.
Roll a d10. And let me know what you get.
5, right in the middle.
Okay. Take
Am I
5
saved?
points of stress as
Great.
you feel this sudden wash of like anxiety come over you as you realize like something is actually happening, and it feels not just like an upset stomach. You generally feel a sense of warmth course over your entire body. Like it just
I do not like this Minotaur. No, I do not.
But at the same
So
time,
he
you
joined a cult.
Would anybody else like to take the sacrament?
Nope. No, thank you.
They only. Never mind. I'll be
It wasn't so bad. You all can take it if you want to. It wasn't that bad.
Reed, you're sweating. What's going on?
it's the sickness.
No, I loved it. I really loved it. That was fantastic, little lady. I would do that every day if I could.
Welcome to the faith, Brother Reed. Welcome to the faith. When you see the face of the Minotaur, and it sees you, it will recognize you as a believer, and it will give unto you all that it is, and knowledge will wash over you. You will have an experience not unlike my own, and you will see. And then you can invite your friends to the faith as well.
Oh, I absolutely will be inviting them. And, you know, that knowledge thing, that sounds great. I didn't get much learning growing up, so I would
In time.
love for more knowledge.
In time, absolutely.
And then that's where you hear like Arcady like start coughing like,
Speaking of time, do you all wish to... Noriko, I think you'll have done enough proselytizing for one day. It's possible that we could move on with it. They have timetable to punch, whatever phrase it is. They have artifacts to get, and I would like to, if we're going to do this, we could do it tomorrow. You might sleep if you would like, or we can do it now. But if we're going to go now, and I can take you to the first floor if you wish, or we can wait until tomorrow. And you might stay the night within the tank.
Going now seems ideal, and she'll look to everyone else.
Well, I think Noriko and I kind of had some plans tonight, but, you know, Noriko, you can find tomorrow night if that doesn't work.
I'm sorry, Brother Reed, but I need to just tend to the shrines, if you don't mind. There's the roots themselves will not tend.
I completely get it. I got choring to do too. You know, it all happens. Tomorrow night. Tomorrow night is the date. I'll treat you to a very fine meal.
I look forward to it, Brother Reed. It was a pleasure to meet the rest of you. Happy diving.
It's an experience.
Thanks for the saltine.
so Arcady kind of goes up to, we'll say, like, the doc or Liko, whoever seems to be not a lunatic. I was like, okay. Do you want to go now? I can take you now if you want. Now, understand, I come and when I bring you, you are there for time. You are there for 24 hours. I do not stay attached. I will drop you off. I will not go in with you. I will return to the same dock within 24 hours. If you are there, I will wait. I will wait up to 1 hour outside. You will contact me on this frequency. If I do not hear your contact within that time, I will return again in another 24 hours. This is the process by which I go. There are other divers who are given the same offer, so you might see other travelers as well. Some prefer to stay on the station. I do not recommend this, but that is your decision, of course.
I think that sounds all well and good with me. Y'all seem fine with that?
That's agreeable.
Okay.
Arcady,
Alright.
I do have one slight question. Little Miss Noriko, she was calling me brother. Now, does she call everyone brother, or have I been what they say, friend zoned?
No, she's you are part of her faith now. You are what is the phrase? Barking up wrong tree. She loves her love is pure and all encompassing, but it is for the Minotaur, not for others. Perhaps though I am wrong, and your charisma could win her over, but probably not.
I do have lots of good looks, so we'll just see how that road goes then.
Did you leave them on your ship?
Well, now that's not funny, Arcady. I
think
don't
it
see
is
the
a
humor
little
in that.
funny. It is kind of funny. I got laughter from your friends. Look, they laugh.
And Liko just
I will
gives
just-
Reeds back like a big slap on the back, and it's just like,
Oh, it's okay, buddy. Don't let him get you down.
I just don't
Maybe if
appreciate
you
that
get
kind of
her the
humor. That's all.
Minotaur, you know, maybe you can have a chance then. But
Yeah, let's go
For
find this
now.
Minotaur. We gotta set him free.
Oh, not well. Yes, you can do that. If you want easy, I can help you. You are Nubius. I will give you advice. Come.
And he's like kind of like as you guys are moving toward, like you're moving kind of in the direction of the shuttle and kind of going through this whole process, kind of loading up, kind of sitting down, strapping in, etc., etc.
Yes. There are. I should tell you, there are other people who are doing similar things, but the technology, the data, the artifacts is near endless. Monarch continues to produce them. The facility itself is still functional, though what it does, well, we no longer know exactly. It is sort of up to Monarch, who sets the pace for discovery at this point. I will tell you, though, that the first floor where I am taking you, that is relatively simple, and so you can get taste. It is reception, habitation, offices, and the like. Floor 2 is, I have not heard information about Floor 2 from some time. Noriko has called it Eden. That is true. Floor 3 is the factory. That is where they do the production of synthetics. At least they did production of synthetics. There are labs, special experimentation labs, on floor 4. There is the AI core, supposedly, if not moved. It is on floor 5 and heavily guarded. Security androids, significant number. And then floor 6 is engineering, support, those things. But let us not point too far to an unattainable goal. Keep simple. I have heard rumor that believe me that there was a diving crew who came. They have left, but they did not leave. They left, how you say, empty-handed, fearful. They ran. They fled. And they likely left some of their finds behind. There is a cubicle camp in the habitation where the cubicles were. Many divers use that as a layover stop. They camp there. Some leave. You might look. There might be something there. They might have left something behind, either artifact or maybe equipment. You all are very light on equipment. I would feel bad if you died. Not bad enough to provide you with any of my own equipment. I have business to run, but still.
No, I think we appreciate just the information you just gave us there. I do have one question. Do you that was a lot of information. Do you have like a tour map or something like that? You know, like a little...
No.
Nothing like, level 1 is cubicles, level 6 is like... What'd you say level 6 was again? I missed that in my notes.
This is
Level
not
For
for you.
God's sakes, Reed, we can take notes. I've got notes going. I'll write you up something.
No. I get that. I appreciate that, Doctor. I was just seeing if he had a map, it might make it kind of easy. That's all.
Katie, so were you saying that the last diving crew is currently in the cubicle area? And that is where they...
No. There are some who are still somewhere on the station. There are others that I have not seen for some time. But the most recent arrival, like yourselves, a week past. Well, they were here, and then they fled. I don't know what they saw. They did not talk, but they fled, and then blockade ships blew him up. But that's neither here nor there.
Well, they did say they needed something shiny to get back through.
Yes, I don't believe they brought it, or maybe they did, who knows. But sometimes they leave things, and perhaps you find something of use.
Good to know. Thank you. You've been extraordinarily helpful. We do appreciate it.
That is why I'm here. That is why I'm here. Be careful. Yes, there are things that Monarch will do. It will play with your mind. Be careful. Yes?
Of course.
Yeah, not all of us are willing to join a religious group within the first hour on a new.
Speaking of which, and Dr. Menton will reach into his pack and pull out his med scanner. Reed, get the hell over here. I don't know what you ate. I don't know if you understand that you're not supposed to eat strange things off the floor. That thing looked like shoe.
I wasn't eating off. She seemed very trustworthy. She was talking about the sanctity of life. I'm sure she wouldn't hurt me.
The sanctity of the life on the cracker that you just ate. Let me just run a quick scan and see how you're doing.
Yeah, you weren't here to hear Ghost Eater. He said that maybe we shouldn't eat things, because if it's here, it's created mostly by the monarch. And,
Reed will just go paler than he already is. Wait, someone told you not to eat things, and you all let me eat that cracker? That thing tasted like shit.
Oh, yeah, it was
your choices are your own.
Watching you try and shoot your shot, Reed. I won't lie.
Y'all could have said something.
Absolutely not, and deprive myself of the pleasure of watching you crash and burn. You're hilarious.
Pretty sure I did try, and you were a little too enamored to listen to reason at that particular moment in time. But it's interesting now, Doctor.
I'm just saying it would have been nice to have all the facts. All right,
we're gonna have them in a second.
Get that scanner going.
Yeah. Okay.
You are like children. So as you guys are doing this scan and you're looking at him and everything, those of you that are sitting up towards the front of the shuttle, you can see kind of through the port, the viewing port screen. You're kind of closing in on some kind of sort of docking bay. You see that these huge, like, docking bay doors open up. You see this docking arm kind of reach out, sort of grabs and sort of adheres to the ship itself, kind of brings it into the bay. And as the things are closing, you can, things are sort of, you're feeling the shuttle itself kind of set down and shake a bit from doing so as it's leaving, like, kind of that zero gravity and getting slammed down into something. He says, two other things. Be careful. Monarch knows that she wants these artifacts. Yes, knows that everybody wants these artifacts. He kind of gets lost in thought for a second. But also, there is lab on fourth floor. You can test them, find out what they do. They are different. When you see one, you will know there will be something in you. It will be recognizable but not, purposeful but unclear. Its design will be inscrutable in some ways. The data will be enticing. But the lab could help, and you can find out what it does.
Do you know which level these artifacts are on? The lab is on level 4.
They're scattered throughout the entire station. You can find some on floor 1. Like I said, check the cubicle camp. You might be able to.
Should we just go straight to level 4, check out this lab first, or is this something like we should just wander our way down?
I think we're gonna start on floor 1, like Arcady suggested. Get our boots wet.
My boots are magnetic. It's electromagnetic. I don't think they're supposed to get wet.
Oh, jeez, look at the time. Oh, dear.
I just don't think you understand the just exhilaration that you have from just finding your own path. Everything isn't about having a map with an X on it and the dots to tell you exactly how to get from where you are to where you're going. There is a fun in just finding your way and just doing it for yourself and just not having it given to you. You're just missing out.
You know,
Yeah,
I
just
really
be safe.
appreciate your optimism. You should keep that up. You're like the morale of this group right here. Good on you.
You know, we each spend our time in port doing different things, and I think that maybe my time climbing and doing all that is maybe going to come in a little bit handy here, and I feel like you might do some different things. But I'm looking forward to this so far.
Okay, so you all disembark, kind of start floating. You know, you get out of the visitor's dock itself, which actually, like I said, has gravity. You can see it's got this huge claw arm, and the docking area is it's just massive, and you can see that there's like that huge docking arm itself. You kind of travel through this almost like flesh tone umbilical filled, plastics here and there that's kind of connecting you to an airlock door. You can see there's like graffiti all over the place along the way. It's like sort of like people marking like names of previous diving crews, things like that. You get up to like this. There's an airlock itself, and you can start to. It's like hand cranked. Takes probably one or two of you to do this. It's not just like you're gonna lean down. The second person kind of comes up, but eventually it spins.
Well, I loosened it for you.
And you look back out and you can see the shuttle kind of being extended again by the docking arm is kind of pushing it back out. And you see the large, you close the airlock door and you're kind of looking out this sort of view window into the docking bay. You see the giant doors open and then close once more once the docking arm is clear, once the Arcady shuttle is gone. And you kind of continue inward, and it's a corridor. This one, at first for the first few steps away, but then it becomes this kind of winding stairwell, like this metal stairwell. You hear the sounds of your thum, 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 these sort of, your either your mag boots or your regular boots, whatever it is. And you're seeing like kind of bits of graffiti. You see it looks like there's flickering, some flickering lights here and there. There's backlit lights that are showing up in the various parts of the ceilings and the walls. You get to this airlock door again, kind of spin it up. You push it open, and you see as you come inside, there's this wide open space. Like it's actually got this carpeted floor. As you hear the sounds of the echoes of your boots suddenly get muffled, and you look down, it's filthy. Like you can tell it was once like utterly like luxurious, like it probably was a beautiful carpet at one point, but it looks to be some sort of reception area. You see like scattered about, there are all these bullet casings. You see there's this reception desk that is riddled with bullet holes, and you see hanging above it from the rafters, swaying ever so slightly from an extension cord, is a corpse, its head kicked to the side. As the body kind of swings back and forth, you hear the airlock sort of close behind you. You hear the sound of speakers kind of come through from static. And then this little corporate chime sound comes on. And that's where we're going to end tonight, our first session, right on that. And we'll pick up with proper crawling next time.
What the hell?
All right.
That
So much for the sanctity of
so
life.
Creepy.
Dr. Menton just points to it and is like, Mondays, am I right?
Somebody's got a case of the Mondays.
Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment. Corporate accounts payable, Nina speaking. Just a moment.
So funny.
All right. That is first session. That was fun. Little kind of intro, character, world building, lay of the land. Bet some people. Learn some things here and there, and we'll go from
Our
there.
absolute nonsense.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
I wasted so much time.
I
going
thought
on
we were going to
NPCs.
do more crawling, but then like Steven wants to hit on me all night, so who knows?
I'm
what
sorry.
Steven was
And-
trying to turn this
and
into a
join-
dating sim.
And join a cult.
and join a
and-
cult, yeah.
Yeah.
If the pretty girl asks, you say yes.
And
I
you've
hope
got
you have more negative things from that, over time.
We did
Yeah.
a med scan, and Jeff didn't say anything bad happened.
know.
So I
I'm
think
very-
that's
I don't think we heard the results of the med scan, actually. I didn't hear.
Jeff
anything.
knows. That's all we need to know.
Jeff, how many people did you think were going to sign up for the sacrament?
Off the bat, none. I didn't think anyone would immediately. Like down the line, maybe, but not right away. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. It's cool because it's like I think of it like almost like a Diablo quest town. Like you get to a town or a hub. And
It's
like
exactly what it felt like.
That's totally what it feels like. You have like these 3 different NPCs, and there's like some cycling ones that come in.
What's
One of the
that
things we should
dungeon
talk.
crawl game?
There's a lot of dungeon crawl games. You have to narrow it down. But the other thing is like you guys can potentially hire contractors and mercenaries and stuff. Like that's a possibility, and you could get equipment. Like everything's gonna have a markup here, obviously, because like you don't have any other options. But yeah, there it is. But yeah, that's
Dungeon.
Darkest Dungeon. I love Darkest Dungeon. It's one of my
That's a good one.
favorite
I
video
like
games
it.
of all
So
time.
when Reed sprouts something out of his ye old abdomen, we can go get a contractor.
When he births the child of the Minotaur from the seed that he
Guys,
planted
nothing
within
bad is going to
thee.
happen.
I didn't realize I was going to have to do so much preaching about the Minotaur tonight. I was like, oh, I'll just drop a couple things. Like, oh shit, I got to do like a whole thing here. Kept me on my toes today. Oh, crazy. Oh man, it's such a cool book. There's so many things I want to say about this book. Like, it's got this amazing layout. Like the layout in this book is so freaking cool. Like the way they do like their dungeon crawl. Everything kind of has this like electrical circuitry look to it. I kind of borrowed some of that for the layout a little bit with a little little extra little things.
Is this
in there.
third party or from the official company?
No, this is Tuesday Night Games. So yeah, it's got the actual Tuesday Night Games logo there. So yeah, I think this is one of the official ones. The actual 1E conversion isn't out yet. It's coming soon. But I have the conversion guide, and it's not. The conversions are pretty simple, so it's not an issue. And honestly, I think most of the like monsters and things like that, there's really nothing I have to really worry too much about. It's more like items have to be tweaked and like character stuff have to be tweaked, so it's not hard at all. All right. So anyway, that's it for us. We are actually on a break for 2 weeks. So we will actually be back in 2 weeks for all of our streams. So no One Ring tomorrow, no Savage Worlds Monday, no Hunter next Friday. We will be, so the next stream we'll have, because we got a little like vacation stuff going on. Our next stream, I believe, is the 8th of July. So we'll be back, and it will be more Mothership. That'll be our next stream. So we'll get right back to this, but it also gives me a couple weeks to recharge and get some stuff ready for the 1,000 games I'm now running somehow. I don't know how that happened, but I'm running 1,000 of them. Anyway, everyone who hung out tonight, thank you so much. Those of you who threw out bits, Melissa has kept track of it. So the complications, the advantage tips that you've been giving the players, all that will carry over to next session. Things will get interesting and creepy. Yeah, we'll go from there. Players, thanks for hanging out as well. Thanks for doing this. I'm really looking forward to playing some Mothership. I think this is going to be this is definitely the kind of campaign I like, because it's not just a pure combat slog. There's weird stuff that kind of can potentially unfold. Lots of fun little ways to go. Let's rate somebody. I think Defenders are up, because Bert rated us. That means Defenders are up, so we're going to go ahead and start that one. So follow that raid. I think they're playing more of Joe's game, Anvia. So go follow that, and we'll catch you all next time. 2 weeks. Have a good couple of weeks. Bye-bye.